Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we have the promised AP Bruiser Diana guide. I'll be teaching you guys how to build and then play AP Bruiser Diana. So getting straight into the build, I like to go, not even like, you're kind of required to go mana boots first on this build. There's really no other boots that work well because of how much mana, how mana hungry Diana is. So you always need to go these boots. I kind of wish you could go Mercury Treads or even plated steel caps to counter magic damage or physical damage depending on the comp. But sadly, Diana has a huge dependence on mana, so this is what you have to go. For your enchantment, you don't build it first. I would usually go this after your 5th item. But plated steel caps is your enchantment. It's the best one. Really, no other ones really work with this build. You can go stasis if you feel like it's helpful during that game, but I would say for most games, stone plate is the best. Your first item would be heartsteel. Usually, it's my favorite to go first, but you can also go Rabadon first, and I'll go over in which situations you want to go heartsteel or Rabadon. So why would you go heartsteel? If you're going against a melee champ that you know you can consistently get those heartsteel stacks from. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, that's who you usually go against in top lane, so that's what you'll usually go. But sometimes you will have those weird top laners like top lane Vayne or even like a top lane Caitlyn, and in those situations you probably need a little more damage and you would rather go Rod of Ages. So why Rod of Ages? Sorry, why heartsteel in this build? It's for the stacking HP. It really comes together once you get your 3rd item, which would be the Psychic Projector. But it's really just for the stacking HP to get tanky, get those heartsteel stacks, get tanky, and which will later turn into AP from the Psychic Projector. So your other 1st or 2nd item would be Rabadons. Why would you go Rabadons in this build? You go Rabadons for the health, the AP, and the mana. It's really all for the stats. You know, initially you get 250 health and 60 HP and 300 mana, which is really nice. Just off rip would make it a really nice item. But then also its passive is you get stacking stats. So over 5 minutes and 50 seconds, every 35 seconds, I believe. Yeah, every 35 seconds, you get extra HP, AP, and mana. And at the end of those 5 minutes and 50 seconds, you have a total of 250 extra HP, not including the original, 60 extra AP, and 100 extra mana, which is really nice. A bunch of good stats on Diana. The next item that you would go is Psychic Projector. You always want to go this item 3rd unless you're completely underfed and you want to go tank items to be tankier for your team. But this item 3rd is kind of a must if you want to do any damage. Otherwise, this build's damage falls off completely around this time, as long as you're not, you know, completely underfed, or in some cases, fed. So this is also a huge power spike for Diana. This is when you really get your AP, because at this point you have a bunch of HP from heartsteel, a bunch of HP from Rabadons. You have not a bunch, but you have a sizable amount of HP from your Overgrowth rune, which you'll run most of the time. I'll go over runes later in the video or in a few minutes. And then you'll also get HP from your Grasp rune. So there's just a lot of HP that you amass into the game, and it'll become AP. So that's really nice. Your 4th item would be Rabadon's Death Cap. This is purely for damage. It turns all that AP that you got from Psychic Projector and from your Gathering Storm rune, just amps it up. I think it gives you 110%. I don't remember what the percentage is, but it gives you a lot of extra HP, AP, which really helps with your damage. And then your 5th item is situational. You usually go tanky runes, but there is one damage, not tanky, sorry, tanky items, but there is one damage item I recommend sometimes if you feel like you need extra damage and maybe some lifesteal for longer fights. I would say Rift Maker is your best bet. Rift Maker is really nice, especially if you're against tanks. It gives you that true damage, but also gives you that lifesteal. Most other 5th items I recommend would be tank items. My personal favorite is Amaranth Twin Guard. This is what I usually go in most matchups. It's really nice. It gives you a lot of tankiness against AP champions, AP champions, attack damage champions. I'd go this if there's a mix of both damage on the other team and you kind of want to get tankier, last longer in fights. That's when this item would be really nice. The next item that I recommend would be Kanik Rukin, I think. I'm not sure if I pronounced it right, but that would be the one. The newer item that was released this patch. This is really good if there's magic damage on one champ. There's like one specific magic damage champ that you'd like to counter. So the next item I would recommend is Randuin's Omen. Randuin's Omen is really good if there are crit damage champions on the other team. So if there's a bunch of ADCs, maybe a Yasuo and a Yone, or anybody else who would build crit, this is really nice. I would recommend this if there's 2 or even 3 fed crit champions on the other team. Next would be a Warmog. Warmog is really just for fun. If you're really ahead, you're not really worried about anybody, just want that extra HP which will become AP, and you want just out of combat healing, Warmogs is a great choice. It's a really fun choice to go. Spirit Visage is also a good choice against magic damage, but this is also kind of like, oh, you're ahead, but there's some magic damage champs that you're worried about. I would build the Spirit Visage. It gives you magic resist, and also it kind of synergizes with some of the items that we build. Not items, sorry. Some of the runes that we run. Grasp healing is augmented by the Spirit Visage, so that's kind of nice. And the next item I would say would be possible to go would be Thornmail. I haven't 100% tested this, but there is HP scaling on the Thornmail damage. It's 2%. Not as good on this build, especially since we don't go a lot of armor, but it is possible if there's a lot of AD champs. I would say if it's a straight AD comp on the other team, Thornmail would be a worthwhile pickup. Try it. If you don't like it, tell me, because I haven't tried it yet, but Thornmail is theoretically a good choice. Next item that I would also recommend is Force of Nature. Force of Nature I would recommend if there's a lot of AP champs. It's really great for mitigating that AP damage. And then another one that I recommend is Frozen Heart. Frozen Heart is good against attack speed champions. Really great if like there's maybe not crit champions and like, but you still have like a Yasuo who's maybe, I guess Yasuo would always go crit, but like a lot of attack speed. I guess a lot of on-hit champions who have a bunch of attack speed. So like, I don't know, like a Master Yi. And then these next 2 items, I have not actually tried them yet, so I wouldn't know what situations they're good in, but I feel like theoretically they'd be nice. So if you want to try them, like test them out, have fun, go right ahead, knock yourself out. And those 2 are Mantle of the 12th Hour and Searing Crown. Mantle of the 12th Hour is mostly just for the tanky stats and the health, but it looks interesting. And Searing Crown would be more for damage, because of the burn damage on it. But once again, disclaimer, I have not personally tested them, so I'm not promising you that they're 100% effective. So moving on from the items, we'll be going on to runes. Actually, There is one more item that you could go. I'm not 100% sure. I will, I guess you can check this yourself. If Abyssal Mask is still in the game, but if Abyssal Mask is still in the game, it would be a great pickup if you have a lot of AP champions who are ahead. So if like you have a fed Orianna, a fed Morgana, a fed AP Nunu, and you want to help them just do extra damage, Abyssal Mask would be a great pickup. Okay, now for real, going on to the runes. So Keystone, I always go Grasp. It helps you get those hard steel procs because of the extra healing, and the extra damage is really great. The extra health that's added to that you get from proccing it is really nice. So I usually go Grasp. But you can also go Conquer and Electrocute. I've played them before. It works. I don't like it as much, but it is playable. I much prefer Grasp, especially in the Baron lane. It really helps you just fight against those Baron lane champs. So for your primary runes, I usually go the Perseverance tree, I think it's called. And so for the first slot, I go Nullifying Orb. Nullifying Orb is good in lane to help you if you get low. There's not that many great options in this slot, so Nullifying Orb is really the only one you can go. So that's what I go there. Bone Plating is the second for the second slot. It's either Bone Plating or Second Wind. I usually go Bone Plating. It really helps in lane if you feel like you'll be trading with your opponent a lot. Bone Plating really helps. If you feel like there's a lot more poke, so I guess like a Jayce or like a Teemo, stuff like that, I would go Second Wind. It really helps with that poke damage. It's really a game changer. It's a really big difference between fighting a Teemo without Second Wind and fighting a Teemo with Second Wind. So for your third slot, I pretty much like 99% of games I go Overgrowth. It really helps when you finally get Psychic Projector. It's really nice. But there are options in this slot. You can go Perseverance. This one helps you with CC, but I would say this is like if there's only one target or like one enemy champion with CC. This would be really nice. It also gives you armor and magic resist. And finally, for the other option, I'd go Onslaught if there's a lot of CC. I'm gonna kind of hurry up since we're getting to the end of the game and I haven't gone over how to play her. So for your secondary runes, I'd go either Gathering Storm or Giant Slayer. Gathering Storm is best for overtime AP. It really helps with that Psychic Projector, extra damage. But if there's a lot of tanks, I would say Giant Slayer is also a great rune. So I know laning phase is over in the video, but I will now be going over laning phase. So when you're laning, you usually want to just poke the enemy out and usually just poke the lane, really last hit with your first ability until level 3. Once you get to level 3, you can start taking trades with your first ability and then dash in and then second ability and then dash back out by tagging by tagging a minion and the enemy champ. So you dash to the champ and then you dash back to the minion. That's the most effective way to poke. And really early game, just try to last hit. You're not gonna win a lot of fights early game. So for matchups, you will have to max your abilities in a different order. For rougher matchups where you or like melee matchups, I would say you would want to max your second ability. It helps with the shielding in lane. And for long range matchups, I would max my first ability, of course, to poke them. and also just to be able to dash more frequently. So if the more times you hit them with your first ability, the more times you mark them, and therefore the more times you can dash to them. I usually don't take fights before level 5. Once you get your ult, that's kind of like your first power spike. Many lane matchups will also be spent last hitting and under turret, so be mindful of that. Don't be too hasty to go into a fight. And then on to matchups that you don't really want to go against. You never want to go against a Darius. Darius is kind of like the hard counter that I found to this build. Master Yi is also not fun, but you can itemize against him, so that's okay. And other champions you don't want to go is against max health damage. It's like Gwen, Vayne, Kayn. Those are not fun, but it's playable against them. You can also itemize against them. And then kind of just to show, like, yeah, now I'm kind of going to talk about the game. This game isn't exactly like a carry game. It's not the greatest Diana game I've ever played. It's not like a carry job, but I kind of want to show how you can play well even if you're not winning. In this specific situation, I saw that my misfortune was trying to end, so I was trying to keep the enemy team here so my misfortune could end, and she did end up ending the game. My KDA wasn't the greatest, but I was still very helpful to my team, being a tank and kind of stalling at the end there for MF. So this is kind of like the end of the video. We're really getting to the end. If you guys want me to do a video where I kind of break down a gameplay more thoroughly so you can understand how to play her better, please leave a comment. I am willing to do that. I understand that this was a lot more just the build rather than going over the game, the playstyle. But yeah, this is kind of like how to build her, how to play her in lane. I know it was a lot of talking, it was a lot of rambling, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Please, 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 if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Please leave a comment. It really helps the algorithm. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.